Hi guys, JD here from Locked On Sharks. We want to do something a little special for you, especially for some of our newer listeners. So we're going to be actually taking some of our interviews that we've done with some of our players, such as like Tristen Robins, Ozzy Weisblatt, Ryan Merkley, and we're going to be putting them up on YouTube. So if the video quality is a little bit different, it's just because we recorded this. I think the Tristen Robins one, which is today's episode, came out in December 2020. So, we were recording things on Zoom and, not using the Restream that we're using now. So, but we're going to be kind of going through and taking some of these old interviews and putting them up on YouTube, especially for some of our newer listeners who are just finding us. And that way you can kind of learn more about some of your favorite Sharks prospects. So enjoy our interview with Tristen Robins.
You're Locked On Sharks, your daily podcast on the San Jose Sharks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Locked On Sharks, your daily source of everything. Team San Jose. I'm going to cut all the corporate shit at the top. I'm your host, Kyle Demetrius, and back with me are JD and Eric, because I think I can say that this guest has unseated all of our other guests as the most notable guest. Not the oldest, definitely our youngest guest, but definitely the most important guest so far. We have current Sharks prospect, recent draftee, current Saskatoon Blades forward Tristen Robins with us today, which is pretty exciting. So we get to pull back the curtain on what it's like to be drafted by the Sharks. So, Tristen, how are you?
I'm doing great, thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you for you and the team for getting back to us right away. This is going to be exciting because, like we were talking about beforehand, nobody's really doing anything right now. There's not much to do, and you obviously your season hasn't started yet. So I'm gonna start it off with kind of maybe a little bit of an interesting question. But you just got drafted. When did you know in your life that you were gonna go to the NHL?
Yeah, so I spent draft day with my parents, my brother, my grandparents, and my auntie and uncle, and it was just pretty much just that day, spending it with them and seeing my name pop up on the board and being drafted by the Sharks. It was just a surreal experience.
Do you get a call beforehand from anybody or a text or anything, or is it just purely like on the TV and then it hits you?
Yeah, at that time our TV was a little bit delayed, so I actually got a phone call before I was announced. And it was an unknown area code. It was a San Jose area code that I've never seen before, so I was a little suspicious. And then right when I got drafted, I answered that call because I let it ring a couple times because I wasn't.
And who was on the other end?
It was Doug Wilson Jr. on the other end.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. And you're just like, "Hi, I'm Tristen." Like, who the hell is calling me?
Yeah, he's calling me right now. I didn't realize I just got drafted. I wasn't watching the TV.
That's awesome. And is it like a long, like how we've never really spoken to anybody about this process or anything like that, and obviously none of us have been drafted. Is it like a long phone call? Is there like a million? Is there a million different things to do as soon as you get drafted, or kind of what's that like immediate after of like, hey, you've been drafted, you've hugged all your family. Do you have like 1,000 things to do at that point?
Yeah, it was actually a lot crazier than I expected. Obviously, I gave my family some hugs and answered some phone calls from the Sharks organization, and then my social media just started blowing up with the Sharks just posting pictures and stuff. So it was a little crazy like that. I was kind of a little bit overwhelmed with the amount of notifications I had, and it took a while to catch up with. But just getting to talk with my family a little bit, and then the organization was my main priority.
So after you get drafted, and you kind of get through the process, and you've after a couple of days, you kind of sit and breathe for a minute, and realize what happened. What does the process look like for you then? Are you kind of still like in shock and awe, like, oh my God, I'm going to be doing, something I've been playing my whole life and working towards, and I'm going to get to play hockey for a living? And like, to the Sharks, are they like, hey, we're excited to have you. Here's like a list of like A, B, C, and D of like things we want you to work on and stuff like that. Like, what does that look like for us, like right after the draft, a couple days, couple weeks after the draft process?
Yeah, you know what? You actually pretty much nailed it on the head there. That kind of did give me some stuff like that. Yeah, that was a great guess. And yeah, no, we've been in touch. They mostly just talk with my agent, and then my agent relays it to me. But yeah, it was a surreal experience. It took a couple days to really sink in and realize what kind of just happened. And that was a lifelong dream of mine since I was a little boy watching TV. And it made it even more special. I'm not sure if you guys know or the fans listen.
We know.
That
Yes.
dad was a Sharks prospect too, which was pretty crazy. And so I went
It
into
was
in my closet and threw on his retro Sharks jacket as soon as I got drafted.
That was by far the coolest thing. That you just have this sick '90s like OG starter jacket.
I've been looking
I
for
don't
one
know.
ever since I saw that picture and I was like, oh, I gotta
Very
go
jealous.
go
Yes.
find one of those, and it's
Yeah,
very
with me pretty
challenging.
much everywhere.
Does your dad have any extras lying around? What it,
They Oh, go ahead, Eric.
I was gonna ask, so like before the draft, obviously it's a whole thing, especially for a lot of people in media, and there's a ton of folks on Twitter who like are amateur scouts and then go through and of course write scouting reports, and a lot of this stuff is published publicly. Do you ever read, or have you ever read any scouting reports that any of these sort of organizations or people have written about you? Do you like pay attention to where you're ranked and that sort of thing ahead of time, or are you just kind of like crossing your fingers and closing your eyes and hoping for a good day on draft day?
You know what? For sure, draft day was some eyes closed, finger crossing. But no, I did read quite a few articles on myself, and you know what? I like reading those because a lot of the times it tells you stuff you need to work on, and from another person's point of view. So I really appreciate the feedback. I take it always as constructive criticism. It's just people saying what I need to work on and what I need to get better at to round out my game and make it to the next level. But yeah, I did for sure read a lot of articles on myself, and for the most part, I was really impressed with what they'd come up with.
Anything you'd like to refute publicly, saying they were wrong about?
No, like all of it was pretty bang on. It made me open my eyes really and like, wow, like I actually like that describes me better than I thought I'd describe me. So, kudos to those guys, and I was actually really impressed.
Did you? Oh, did you?
It's good to know
When you were
for
going
us.
to get? Yeah, it's good. It's good to know that they're actually right, because we have to. That's the only thing we can go on, right? Is when we're looking
Sure.
at people that they want. But did you know, coming into the day, did you know like second round, third round, first round? Did you have any idea, or were you just like, I'm just gonna let it fall? Because I think you were ranked right around where you got picked. But is there any kind of like, is your agent feeding you information, pumping your tires, or is it just hope to hear your name?
Yeah, you know what? It was a bit of both. I was talking with my agent on the phone, just through text, and we were talking just potential teams, potential picks, and really it didn't matter where I got selected. I was just grateful for that opportunity, and I was excited to go to my first NHL camp and impress some people, and I just really just excited for that opportunity with whatever club that would be, and thankful it's the Sharks.
How many teams did you talk to before the draft? Because you know how they do like a million interviews and stuff. Did you talk to a lot, or just a few that honed in on you, or what was that process like?
Yeah, every team contacted, does their own thing, different scouting reports, and whether it's over Zoom or emails. But I had an email for sure from every team, and then teams that were more interested would, follow up with a Zoom call or, text or whatever. But yeah, no, I actually ended up talking with every team.
That seems exhausting. Trying to
No,
keep
it's
track of.
exciting, adrenaline. It was so much fun.
Yeah, I mean, for you, it's probably exciting because you get to live out your dream, and the payday is coming too as well. So that's probably also nice too. So you have to go back to the Blades this year, most likely, obviously with the shortened season and stuff like that. Is there stuff that you specifically have to work on with the Blades, or is it just have a great season, have a good camp with the Sharks, come into the Blades season, play really well there, and then next year try to crack the team? Or is there specific like goals that they've laid out for you?
No goals that they've laid out for me. I always have individual goals that I want to do in a season, but with the season not starting until later, then that's been put on hold. But yeah, I know you nailed it right on the head there. I want to go and have a great season, and then just set myself up for a great camp with San Jose, and hopefully potentially crack that roster and do whatever I can.
One of my favorite storylines from media right ahead of seasons is like, oh, this player put on 10 pounds of muscle in the off season, or like worked on a skating or worked on a shooting a lot with like a coach. Are we going to hear any headlines about you like that in like 2021 preseason camp, like Tristen Robins put on 15 pounds of muscle, or like worked on his
Best shape of his life.
snapshot? Yeah, best shape of his life.
You know what? I feel like my golf game got a little bit better with this extended. But um, other
I
than
love
that,
it. I love
yeah,
it.
yeah, so I grew about an inch, put on like 12 or 13 pounds, so I got a little bit
Wait,
bigger.
did you actually?
Yeah.
Oh, sick.
Oh, you already
So
did it. This is
all
amazing.
elite prospects, you're out of date. You can hear it from here first.
It's pretty Elite Prospects is pretty accurate. They updated that about a month ago.
Oh, nice.
And
Um,
yeah,
Oh,
but I'm
do
a
they have a camera in your bathroom there, just on your scale, like
yeah,
waiting for you
it's
to?
right on my scale, and then yeah, I'm the measuring tape too. Yeah, no, I put on a bit of size this summer for sure.
That's good.
that's exciting. I'm sure the Blades are happy about that as well because
Yeah.
you're going to be. We talked to Les Lazaruk, the play-by-play guy. He's a big fan of yours, and he was saying that you're going to be kind of leading this team and be one of the guys they're going to lean on. So I imagine the Blades are looking for you to grow, but put on that weight and then also keep moving forward, right?
For sure. Yeah, I feel like that's pretty accurate, being one of the older guys on the team and, a 3-year returning player with this organization. I feel like there's, going to be some high expectations, but I love that. I love, having some pressure. But at the end of the day, I'm just going to do whatever I can to, help the team win and better myself.
Can I ask about sort of because I've never played hockey, and you played a little bit of wing and center this past season, right?
Yeah.
Can you just for like pretend I'm a kindergartner, what are the major differences between like transitioning back and forth from wing and center, and do you prefer one and which one's tougher, and sort of just like just help our listeners and me mostly out understand what goes on between those two positions.
Okay, for sure. Yeah. So I think playing each position really depends on the style of player that you are. For me personally, I have no issue playing either position. I'm pretty interchangeable that way, just whatever would be, benefit the team more. I prefer playing center if I have to choose. But me as a winger, I feel like I'm not as engaged because, playing defense, you're mostly just hovering around the top of the circles or up by your D man. So I like to be around the puck a lot more. So playing center, I feel like I got a lot more touches. I got the opportunity to skate the puck out of my zone, and I was, in the corner mixing it up a little bit because I really enjoy that part of my game is, taking the physical side and putting it into my game. And so I feel like playing center is better for myself. That's what I like doing more. I love taking faceoffs and just transitioning to. I could give quick give and goes as a centerman and just generate more speed going up the ice rather than being a winger and then maybe starting flat-footed at the blue line or being a little bit too far ahead of your centerman. So I just like playing center more.
That is helpful. Thank you. That makes a lot of sense. So you can't like fly the zone early when you're playing center.
Yeah.
That's tough. So are you expecting to play mostly center this season when you come back, or do you know?
Yeah, I'm expecting to play mostly center, I would think.
Right on.
Do you have
Um,
do you have wingers ready made, or do you not know yet?
I mean, I know the returning guys, and I hope I play with, some of the two guys that I have played with last year.
Hmm.
One of them being Kyle Krinkovic, and then the other one, Martin Fast-Garudas. So we had some pretty good chemistry together, and I hope that I start the year off with them.
so I want to kind of transition from like your continue to talk about Blades, but so we talked to Les and we talked to with the he kind of told us about the Blades and the Raiders. You guys have a huge rivalry, and now you also Ozzy Weespot, who was the Sharks' first round pick. So you guys are rivals now, but you're also gonna be teammates in the future. Have you guys like talked about it? What's that like with a guy where you're both gonna be your big rival, like cross town rivals, but you're gonna be teammates in the future, hopefully.
Yeah, you know what? That's actually pretty ironic with all the stuff going on. If you really think about it, the good rivalry that the Blades and the Raiders have is, it's monumental. Every game's a war, and I think there's a little bit of competition between, or I mean, a lot of competition between Ozzy and I going head to head, especially with this past year being our draft years. We wanted to outcompete each other, and so yeah, I think it's pretty funny that we got drafted to the same team. And yeah, we chatted a little bit after the draft, just exchanged some congratulations, and talked a little bit about summer plans and training and whatnot. And that was really about it. We keep in touch a little bit, but yeah, no, it's going to be pretty exciting.
with other draft picks, like, have you been kind of keeping tabs? I know, like, Bordelot, who's been kind of lighting it up with Michigan and stuff. Have you been kind of keeping tabs with some of the other Sharks prospects? Or I know you guys haven't been playing yet, so.
Yeah, no, I actually haven't really looked. I haven't talked to anyone else, actually.
Gotcha.
That's right. I guess it's easy just to talk to Ozzy because he's down the road.
Yeah.
You're gonna see him at the rink eventually. So,
Yeah.
did you know him at all beforehand, or no? You just knew he was a guy on Prince Albert.
Like I've got mutual friends with him. Like he's friends with Crank, like Kyle Krankovic, and a couple other guys I know. So I guess we probably knew each other mutually.
Yeah.
But we never met or just kind of battled in the corners in PA. That was really about it.
Oh yeah, what's your hockey nickname? You said Crank is one of your line mates. What's yours?
Yeah, mine's pretty simple. It's just Rob or Robbie.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Do you think that's going to transition to the NHL, or do you think they're going to give you something new when you get there?
You know what? I don't know. It's I guess only time will tell. I've heard some pretty weird ones. I've had some people call me Roberto. Yeah, like really out there. You know what? I don't know. I think it depends on the person. Someone can say something and, a couple guys will laugh and maybe it'll stick. So, like a good one, for example, was I remember I was talking with I forget who I was talking with about it, but I love Quinn Hughes' nickname. They call him Huggy Bear. I think that's hilarious.
That's awesome. That's so much better than like the usual nicknames you get.
Yeah, like
coming out of
call him Hughesy, but I think Huggy Bear is just hilarious.
Yeah,
Huggy Bear's amazing.
That's way better.
Do you think guys are yelling that during NHL games at him?
You know what? I feel like it's a safe bet to say that they were.
Definitely as an insult too. Definitely not as like a term of endearment though. That's definitely something. It's like when what's his face, James Van Riemsdyk got called a pigeon or whatever by Claude Giroux.
Yeah,
that was definitely the same kind of vein where they are not doing this out of fun. They what are you gonna miss most? Because let's be real here, you're a second round pick. The Sharks probably have big plans for you. What are you gonna miss most about the WHL when you finally leave?
I feel like I really enjoy the road trips, and
Really?
yeah, you know what? Well, like I do and I don't. It's a really love-hate relationship. You don't like sitting on the bus for 20 hours, but I mean personally, I just like what comes along with it. The card games at the back. The wrestles that break out on the bus because of some stupid arguments. The hotels are usually pretty fun. Some pranks are played there, and then usually we'll get to do a bit of touring sometimes if we have a day off in the cities. So I think, the road trips are pretty fun, and just the atmosphere is pretty good too. I mean, I've never experienced an NHL atmosphere yet, so I'm excited for that. But yeah, the atmosphere here and just the friendships and the competition has been great.
What's your favorite WHL city that you've been to, or arena, or just like
Prince George?
Yeah.
Hey man, I don't know.
I really like playing in Rogers in Edmonton.
Yeah.
Right, playing where the Oilers play. But one of my favorite rinks to play in was actually I only been there once, and it was Tri-City. They were packed. The fans were absolutely bananas, throwing stuff at us on the ice. We won in overtime, and they just went bananas because they thought it was offside. And we had this one guy behind the bench with this retro cut off Americans jersey that was cut off the shoulders, so it was like a. And he's got his beer in his hand, he's got his hot dog in the other, and he's just screaming at us. And our coaches were turning around and yelling at them. And it was just a gong show, but it was probably one of the most fun games that I've ever played.
I don't think anybody would have expected you to say Edmonton and Tri-Cities as the two answers there.
Yeah, no, pretty wild. It was just a fun game. I feel like that's probably one of the most fun games I played, but the rink, that atmosphere just for that game was unforgettable.
Are you allowed to talk about any of the pranks that you guys have played in the hotel rooms publicly?
Yeah, some like PG pranks would maybe just be like water sitting on the door. When you open the door, the water spills out into the room.
A classic leaner?
Yeah, just a classic water bowl leaner. Maybe just tossing some guy's bed around the room, rearranging it a little bit.
Has anybody ever done the icy hot? When I played varsity basketball, we did the icy hot and the guys like spandex and stuff like that.
My dad told me a crazy story because he played in Saskatoon when he was 17 through 19, and he said that or not him, but like a couple guys, they're getting bag skated or something, and they weren't happy about it, so they put some icy hot on one of the coaches like undergear or whatever, and
Oh.
then no one fessed up to it, obviously, so that the coach wasn't too happy, and that coach is actually still around with us today, which is pretty crazy.
Oh, that's brutal. How is obviously you talk to your teammates all the time, being drafted, has anything changed? Do they make fun of you for being drafted, like in a camaraderie way? Has anything changed for you, or is it just like, yeah, you got drafted, whatever, get the fuck back over here and keep working hard?
For me, that's exactly what it is. Like, who cares? The work's just starting. But some of my buddies have been giving me a hard time. But I don't know, one of my buddies, whenever I see him, or if I make something like a joke or something, and he's not having it, then he brought up one time. He just like came up to me out of nowhere, and he asked me, he's like, "Oh, how's Burnsy doing?" Stuff like that, just little jabs, but it's all fun.
That's have you talked to anybody on the Sharks, like actual players, or are they it's just a completely different team right now?
Well, Couture called me actually when I got drafted,
Nice.
which was
Nice.
pretty cool. It was another unknown area code number, but that was after I got drafted, so I was okay with answering that one. And I answered the phone, said hello, and then he introduced himself, and I was kind of in shock, but that was a pretty cool experience.
That is awesome. I don't know what I would do if Logan Couture called me up and like, hey, hello, this is Logan Couture. How's it going? Do you ask him to sign some stuff and send it over to you?
Yeah, I'm thinking about it. Send me a couple of things with your name on it, please.
That's awesome. Are you so speaking of the Sharks, what's your personal goal of making the Sharks, basically? Because we all know that most likely this year you're probably going to be back unless you go nuts in training camp, which I mean, I'd be happy for you if you did. So when do you think you're going to make the Sharks, or like when are you trying to make the Sharks for?
Well, you know what? I'm an extremely driven person, and as stubborn as I may sound, every single time that I'm going to be in that city, I'm going to be trying to make that team.
Oh,
So I'm going to do
perfect.
everything I can. Yeah, I'm going to do everything I can. I'm going to make it a hard decision for them to send me home. That's just my goal.
Hey man, perfect. Do you remember all 55 people taken in front of you and all the GMs that passed over you, or is that on your list?
Like
You know
Arya
what?
Stark, you're at
There's
night just saying them out.
Yeah, I was just going to say there's definitely going to be some competition with some different teams that I talk to that I won't be or that I'm going to be extremely excited to play.
Perfect. We'll know by in like 10 years from now when you have like 30 away goals against one team. We'll be like, yeah, it was probably a team that wanted him and then just didn't draft him.
No, I'm excited.
Do you know Kirby Doc well? Like, were you guys buds when you played together?
I
Have
know.
you talked to him at all about his experience in the NHL so far and how that's gone?
Yeah, I've talked with him a couple times, mostly just through his brother because his brother talks to him probably the most.
Right.
But he lived with Seabrook this year, and so he picked up a bunch of Seabrook's tricks, off the ice, on the ice, just training, body maintenance. So I've heard some pretty interesting stories there. He went out to Seabrook's place in Kelowna too.
Nice.
Just to train and to hang out, and because who wouldn't want to go to Kelowna, right?
Yeah.
And go surfing for a few days. But I talked with him a little bit. Not a whole lot. I haven't talked to him in a while, but I got to see him actually during the All-Star break. He came back, came to Saskatoon for a few days, so got to catch up with him a little bit. Didn't ask him too in-depth the questions, just pretty much what it's like, and you having fun, you enjoying it, and what's it like being in the same room with Patrick Kane and kind of stuff like that.
Do you have a favorite NHL player? Now that you're an NHL player or an NHL prospect, are you allowed to say this?
I feel like I'm gonna say it as long as I'm playing hockey, or for as long as he's playing hockey. But my favorite player was always Sidney Crosby growing up. I just love the way he controls the game, loves the way he protects the puck, and he makes everyone around him better. So he's always been a big player for me to watch.
That makes us feel old because we're all about his
Yeah,
age.
he's a one month younger than I am, almost exactly. So every time I see him lining it up, I'm just like, yes, we are the same age, and I am in my office at another day of work, just doing the same thing I've been doing for the last 5 years while he's lighting it up on the NHL.
That's me and Brent Burns. Brent Burns is 1 month older than me. Yeah, so I guess, yeah.
There you go.
Did you Yeah, I know your dad was a Sharks prospect and stuff. Did you ever follow the Sharks before they got drafted? Do you have a favorite Shark? Do you know anything about the Sharks other than they're an NHL team? You can say no. Like, I mean, there's 31 teams and you're from Manitoba, so like.
For sure, no, I don't know a whole lot. I watched, I liked the Sharks growing up, actually. When I was little, I just liked the logo. I loved the Shark.
Hell yeah, that's why we're all fans.
Yeah. And yeah, no, I didn't follow them a whole lot growing up. I, just knew the players' names. That's really about it. I just pretty much watched the players individually who I liked. That's, most of the games that I tune into, and then I watch the players and try to pick up little skills that maybe I can implement into my game. So mostly just stuff like that.
Did you have a favorite team?
Probably it was Pittsburgh just because of Crosby.
Yeah.
But I really enjoy watching Toronto with Marner and Matthews and Tavares, and just I love watching those type of players.
Is it weird knowing that like in a couple of years you'll be like lining up against them, and that's like Crosby? I mean, he's only 33, so in a couple of years you could be lining up across from him on a faceoff. Is that still a weird concept to you?
It's it's funny, as I talked with my dad about this recently. I think it was 3 or 4 years ago when I started being getting a little bit better at hockey and becoming more confident and really starting to dial things in and realize this is exactly what I want to do. I was talking with my dad and I remember saying to him like, whoa, like, and I said Crosby's age that year, whatever it was. And I'm like, this is pretty crazy. My draft year is in like 4 or 5 years. I could maybe play against Sidney Crosby. That's what I said to him, and I was like, that's so cool. And it just blew my mind at the time, and I feel like even if I got that opportunity to line up or maybe even take a face off against him, that until that moment I feel like it'd just be surreal.
And then you're gonna get on the ice in like one of your NHL games,
and
get
the puck
absolutely
drops,
wallpapered by somebody and be like, oh yeah, I gotta play the game. This they don't care.
Yeah, we're here now. We gotta wake up. Don't get hammered.
Yeah, you get back to the bench and the coach is like, "What the fuck are you doing?" You're like, "Oh yeah, right."
Then I'm back on the bench and then in the stands.
Have you
press box the next night?
Hey man, the NHL press box is probably a lot better than a WHL press box.
Press box hat trick, a couple burgers.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, you can't go wrong. I mean, if you're injured, this seems like the best place to be. just hang out there, have a beer.
Yeah, you get a game. Yeah, can't complain with that view.
Wait, I've totally off topic. It says on your Elite Prospects profile page you were born in London, England.
Oh yeah.
What's the backstory there?
That was after my dad finished playing in North America. He went over to Europe to finish out his career. Ended up playing 9 years in England, and that's where I was born. Moved back and forth in the summertime, obviously with the off season, for 3 or 4 years, back and forth to England and back to Manitoba, and spent my first couple of years of my life kind of growing up there.
So, do you consider yourself English, or are you Canadian, or?
I'm Canadian, yeah. Yeah, but I got dual citizenship, which is pretty cool.
That's convenient. That's convenient.
Yeah, that sounds great.
You just whip out the passport you need in the moment. Have you played for Canada at? I mean, I could look at your Elite Prospects, but have you played for Canada at any level, or is that something you want to do in the future? Obviously, you do, but what's kind of the national stage dream for you?
Yeah, I have never. One of my season goals coming into the summer and the off season was to crack the World Junior roster. And obviously they I got an invite actually to their camp, but they ended up shortening it by like 15 people or whatever. So I didn't make that cut, unfortunately. So I was a little disappointed. But yeah, that was one of the goals of mine this year, was to crack that team and represent my country. But you know what, I hopefully still have some opportunity in the future with maybe the Olympics coming back with the NHL players or World Cup or whatever that may be.
And you're still eligible for juniors next year, right?
I don't think I am with my late birthday, unfortunately.
Oh, sorry. We'll cut that out of the pod.
November. Yeah, I was going to say.
Team Canada has dumb rules anyway, so.
You will be eligible for the AHL if that's in the pipes, which would be cool.
Yeah, and the CUDA, they'll be. I think they have another year or two before they open up their new arena too. So you'll be but you'll be on the Sharks by the time that's open up anyway. So.
Yeah, we heard it from you. You're going straight to the NHL, so you don't need to worry about the Barracuda, right?
So,
have you thought about playing in the AHL at all, or has it just been Blades, and I want to make the Sharks, full stop? Or have you like understood like, hey, maybe you have to go to the AHL? Kind of what's the dynamic in your head right now?
You know what? I totally understand that maybe I have got to go play in the AHL, but I'm stubborn and competitive, so I'm like, Blades, Sharks, and we're good. There it is. That's what I want to do, and I'm gonna do my very best and everything I can to make that a reality. But in the long run, then if I got to play a year or two in the minors and eventually make it up, then that's still the goal.
Love it. So what are you doing? What do you do in, I don't know, your off time? You play golf, you said, obviously. What else do you
What's your
do when you're
handicap?
not training, when you're not playing hockey? Yeah. Give us your golf game.
Yeah, you know what? I think I started the summer around a 16 handicap.
It's all right.
And yeah, probably dropped down to maybe around 10, just above 10. So
Yo, that's
got
legit.
it depends who I'm playing with though. Like if I'm really trying to dial it in and playing for some money, then I'll stop messing around. Or otherwise, if I'm playing with my buddies, I'll line one up and give it a Happy Gilmore off the tee box.
Yo, 10's legit. That's nothing to sneeze at.
But that's probably being a little bit generous if I'm having a real good day.
That's fine. You what's the NHL season really? Training camp, season, playoffs, golf, right?
Yeah.
So you have lots of time to figure it out. So what else do you do in the off season when you got like now, for instance?
Yeah, so I'll give you summertime example. From Lake Manitoba. We live pretty much right on the lake. We have a surf boat. I do a lot of surfing, a lot of golfing, biking, kayaking, fishing, a lot of outdoor stuff, lake activities. Right now, not a whole lot because of COVID and everything. Kind of just restricted to just pretty much skates and workouts. Other than that, Manitoba's code red. Everything's shut down. So yeah, I don't know, not a whole lot right now. A bit of Netflix here and there. Yeah, it's really about it.
What are your
What's the
favorite
last show you?
shows? Yeah.
What's the last show you binged?
My favorite show, I've watched it a few times. I don't know why some people hate on it. I absolutely love it, but it's Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Oh, nice.
I love that. I don't know why that it gets so much hate. I love Andy Samberg. Some people just think he's like not that good of an actor, but I think he's hilarious. I don't think it's just my humor, but
No, Andy Samberg's great. Lonely Island is God's gift to music.
yeah.
Yes.
What was the last show you binged fully? Was it Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
I binged Lucifer, not quite done though, because I think there's like 5 seasons or something. I'm mid binge. I'm like season 3.
My
Nice,
wife
dude.
watches that show. Yeah, she likes that show. So
That's pretty
maybe it's because the guy's like super hot. That's why. But
What kind of music do you listen to? We're into the personal who is Tristen Robins portion apparently now.
Okay, sweet. I listen to a bit of everything before games. I like some, classic rock or some rap. Casually, maybe just some R&B. I love country. Huge country guy. Especially, when I'm outside and in the summer on the boats, mostly just country.
So that sounds about right for Manitoba.
Yeah.
what was your favorite album this year?
My favorite album was the new Luke Combs one that just came out, I think. But other than country,
Like I say, folklore. You would definitely Kyle jump to number 1 in Kyle's heart if you said folklore. He's
Hey man. Some of us go through breakups during the summer.
She's not country though. She's just a pop star now.
It's fine. They
let's do a bit of everything.
growing up in rural Ontario, I definitely know all about the country love, about going on the lake and everybody's blasting country from their boats.
Yeah.
It's just like a way of life, I think, in like
It is.
rural Canada. It's just how it rolls. What was I gonna say? I can't remember. JD, say something.
What's your like go-to movie when you're going to, like, if you're bored, you got to kill some time, what's your go-to movie?
I love movies. It's probably one of my favorite things to do is watch movies. I used to go to the theater every Tuesday last year.
On
For
cheap night?
Tuesday, get a drink of popcorn and a movie
Yeah.
ticket for like around $20. So it was a sweet deal. I think the bus classics were probably just like Step Brothers. We watched the Harry Potter movies, but I feel like one of my favorites of all time is pretty cliche, but I love Step Brothers. I can recite pretty much the whole movie, but I love it.
That's
Oh
good.
man, we should just keep going on the pod right here. First of all, you called Step Brothers a classic, and I hurt because I was in university when it came out. I think I saw it in theaters. I'm pretty sure.
What?
Did
I was
you ever hit up the VIP at Cineplex? I'm Canadian, by the way, so like I deeply know about Tuesdays and cheap night.
Yeah, I've only
Stupid
yeah,
Cineplex.
it's amazing. Not a lot of people know about that.
Yeah, and then you guys get your
Is
points
it like
every time.
nationwide? Did Trudeau just like mandate that every movie theater has to do cheap Tuesdays, and so everyone gets
It's like
popcorn?
one. It's like one chain. It's Cineplex.
Gotcha. Okay.
Right? Is that what you have there?
Yeah, there's like IMAX, Cineplex. There's this one called Rainbow. It's
Oh.
Rainbow Cinemas, and it's $2 for a movie, but the seats are like literally cardboard boxes. It's brilliant.
So I went to university in Sudbury, and we had a Rainbow Theaters there, and it was all flat. It wasn't like angled seats; it was all flat. And the $2 movies were like from the '80s and '90s. So it's just like if you want to watch this classic movie, that's all you're getting.
Yeah.
This shitty movie theater.
Just go for the movie popcorn anyway.
Yeah, did you know you can get an Uber to yourself now from Cineplex?
I'm gonna have to do that then. Thank you for telling me.
Yeah. I don't know if that's just like a Toronto thing, but yeah, check it out because you can definitely do it. What? Who's the most famous person in your phone? Your dad.
Probably
What?
Couture.
Did you save his number? Yeah.
Yeah.
Should we send him
made
a
sure to
prank
do that. Are you
text?
kidding me?
All right. So Couture. That's I'm a non-Sharks player then.
Maybe Sam Steele, Anaheim Ducks,
Oh, that's legit.
Okay.
It's
Cool.
just gonna be a lot of hockey players.
or
in your
Kirby. Yeah.
I was gonna say
Oh,
Kirby.
yeah.
Kirby's got to be
Yeah,
in there.
there you
Yeah.
go. There you go. What? You had salmon and rice tonight beforehand. What do you eat pregame?
Pre-game is usually chicken and vegetables.
Steamed
I do-
vegetables?
Pardon?
Steamed vegetables, or are you frying those up?
Usually fried or baked. I like steam the odd time, but I usually do my carb load the night before with a big pasta meal or a big rice meal, and then I usually don't eat a whole lot of carbs on game day because I feel a little bit sluggish if I do.
How many years did this take to perfect? How many games of halfway through the second period you're like, oh god, I feel like shit?
Literally, the amount of games I've played minus maybe the 30 that it took this year to figure out.
That's awesome. I went for all you can eat sushi on the road one time. We had a huge game against some university, the U of T or something like that, and we went out for all you can eat sushi. And let me tell you, that was the last time we ever did that.
awful.
It was brutal.
A big sushi roll on the ice.
Oh yeah, it's disgusting. You just like feel like your feet are in quicksand, and it's brutal. Are you hockey players are notoriously superstitious? Are you a superstitious guy? Do you have any like must do superstitions?
I mean, like, I wouldn't call them superstitions, but I have some must-dos. Like, I'll take a nap on game day and kind of prepare myself that way. I do the same warm-up, just with my headphones on and kind of do my own thing and stretch and roll out and do the same stuff before every game, but nothing where it's like, if I have a meeting at that certain time, then I won't be rattled that, I can't do this, portion of stretching or whatever. So I'm not superstitious that way, but I just kind of have a routine that I do.
Not like the same jock strap, or you got to wear the same pair of socks on game day, or something like that. Or,
No, I've never been that superstitious.
Are you a socks and skates guy, or are you a Bobby Orr no socks and skates?
I'm a big socks and skates guy, but I like the thin socks. Like they're called thinnies.
Yeah. I don't know those people that wear no socks and skates. It creeps me out.
Actually, psychopaths.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys have ever put skates on, but when you wear no socks in your skates, it feels so gross after like 10 minutes.
Oh, it's insane. It's like you've definitely worn rubber boots and maybe stepped in a little bit too much mud and you get a bit of a booter going. That's what it feels like.
Booter.
Yeah.
That's a great term. I love that. A bit of a booter. I borrowed my friend's skates and I was like, so what do guys wear like socks, whatever? And he's like, some people go barefoot, and I was just like, I'm borrowing your old skates. I'm not touching those things with my feet, man. So no,
Yeah.
but I have heard people do that though.
It's Bobby Orr, it's the way.
Why do they skate barefoot?
Bobby Orr did it. I'm not joking.
No, I believe you, and clearly it's not just him. There are other people who like have also do it, but it just seems like a bizarre thing to do.
Yeah, for sure.
It's strange. What's the one thing that everyone should know about you? It can be hockey related, it can be not hockey related. What's one thing everybody should know about you before we get you out of here?
That's an interesting question. I feel like I have some pretty, I don't know, maybe some weird talents. I can juggle. I can solve a Rubik's Cube.
Whoa,
Um,
nice.
Just
I
I'll
don't
send
know.
you my kids.
Have you done a bigger
It's-
one? Have you done like a bigger than a 3x3? I used to know how to do those too, but I forget.
Yeah, my brother bought a whole bunch when he was younger. He bought up to like a 6x6. I don't think I ever figured out that one though, but I think I got the 4x4. Don't think I got the 5x5, but yeah, I don't know. It's just all algorithms and all patterns and
Right,
stuff you
right.
gotta memorize. But yeah, no, I don't think there's anything too outrageous. I feel like I'm a pretty open book.
Ooh,
But
what's
yeah,
the last book you read?
what?
What's the last book you read? So you gotta
Uh,
join Logan Couture's book club. So you gotta,
yeah, you know what? The last book I read was actually in grade 9. That was 6 years ago.
All right,
That's okay.
Stan, we won't dive any further in that. Yeah, so thanks, Tristen. Appreciate you coming on. I don't know if you want people to check you out. I don't know. Check you out on Saskatoon at Saskatoon Blades. I guess I don't know. Do you have anything you want people to go do or promote yourself? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know. My Instagram is just my name, Tristen Robins. Same with my Twitter, but I feel like it's pretty boring profiles. I don't know. I don't really have a lot on there. Just some pictures of the lake and a couple fish, and that's really about it.
Normally we have like media guys on, so they have like a raft of like 7 different places that you can follow them and stuff. And you're
Yeah.
gonna hear in about 20 seconds all of our stuff. So yeah, just watch Saskatoon's Blades hockey. Keep up with what you're doing because Tristen Robins will be on the Sharks in 2021, 2022, according to him, which we're all hoping for. Yeah, thanks, Tristen. We really appreciate it. Obviously, this was great. Good luck this season. Obviously,
Yes.
first and foremost.
Stay healthy.
Stay healthy. Hope you have a great season, and we look forward to watching you on the Sharks.
I really appreciate your time. Thanks for chatting, guys.
All right,
No,
thank you.
thank
Thank you, man.